Hey, how you doing, everybody? As always, this is JD Lewis with Untamed Conversations. Today, I want to talk about toxic masculinity and being a dad to a little girl and kind of the way society sees men nowadays in general. I think that back in the day, 40 years ago, maybe more, have, dads that are present, but at the same time, they're working, they're watching sports, drinking beer, not playing with their children. I think that it's definitely a different day and age. I don't think that it should be like that anymore. I feel like we have quite a few people, at least that I know, that believe, there's that old school way of parenting and being a man. And I believe in that. I get it. You're the man of the house. You want to provide. You want to take care of your family. You want to be a good role model. But at the same time, that's not necessarily the norm nowadays. I know there's parents and there's couples and where the woman makes more money than the man, and they both work. It's a two house income. Both are working, are trying to support their family, and I think some men have a problem with that nowadays, dealing with that, thinking that if they're not doing everything, there's a problem. I will say I love being a girl dad. I get people all the time, and you'd be surprised that fucking ask me, aren't you upset you didn't have a boy? You guys see the pictures, the videos, you see every time we go out, me watching her play softball. That's the best thing that ever happened to me. Having a daughter saved my life and made my life so much better. So I think that men do get a bad rap right now. If you're too sensitive, you're labeled. I don't even know what you're labeled, but if you're too sensitive, it's an issue. And then if you stick up for yourself, then you're considered an asshole. You take as much shit as you can, and the second you stick up for yourself or the second you fight back, you have anger problems. You need to go see someone. You need to go see a therapist. You need to talk to this person. You need to do this. And I think it's just crazy, actually, inside my mind, just the way I think about it. And the things I hear, when I'm out, the people I observe, because I love to people watch. And I see that, unfortunately, when I'm out, men that won't do certain things because they don't think it's masculine to do so. Not playing with your children, not playing dolls with your daughter, not playing dress up. If my daughter asks me to put a skirt on and the little doll skirt and heels and put makeup on and run around the house, I'm going to do that because that's what she wants me to do. And I think that we need to make sure that our children's lives and childhoods are better than ours. Like I said, by no means am I saying I had a bad childhood. It was a good childhood. What I'm saying though is be more present in your child's life. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Don't be afraid to, play dolls and go on ice cream dates and snuggle up and watch a movie. Like, what's saying you can't do that because you're 6 feet tall, 240 pounds, and that's just not what men are supposed to do? Get the fuck out of here, dude. Get out of here. I think that men have been taught a certain way to do things for so long that they don't know how to change that. And that's fine. I mean, I'm one of them. I mean, I learned a lot of things growing up, and there's a lot of things that I think I would like to change or I am changing. And I'm starting to get better with that. I don't think it should matter what other people think. If somebody thinks you're not man enough for what you're doing, you don't need that person in your life. I think it's a bunch of bullshit. Like I said, you go back to if a man cries or shows his emotions, he's weak. But the second he snaps because nobody will listen, he's considered a monster. So I think that's where men get a bad rap. There's really not many ways around that. You can be mean, you could be nice, and lately, and not me, just in general, from what I observe, it seems like men really are getting beat down here. I'm part of a dad's group on Facebook. It's called Girl Dads, and it's very cool. But the things I see people going through are fucking terrible. Mothers that just beat down on the husbands. Divorcees that won't let them see their kids, and the second they get upset about it, they're considered crazy. They're considered monsters. And I think it's hard. That's why when it comes to men and toxic masculinity, which everybody likes to use this word, by the way. I don't know when it became so popular. I don't even like the word. I think we're labeled, and that's why they say toxic masculinity, and it makes no sense to me. I think depending on the way we act, that's how people label us and judge us. And I think somebody one day just threw that word out there and said, you know what? This is what this is called, which is, to me, absolute bullshit. I've seen so many men in the last, even 2.5 months since I started my podcast, with what they're dealing with what they're going through, just a bunch of absolute crap. It's sad, having to fight to see your child if you're divorced, having to take care of the whole household, especially in this economy. I mean, it's not easy. That's why, yes, most of us do have 2 incomes per household. If you're able to live off 1 income, then that's amazing, and congratulations. That's very good for you, and I wish you nothing but the best. That's, somebody who probably worked their ass off to get where they are. But lately, there's just a lot of men that have, reached out to me and talked to me, and in confidence, obviously, so I will never, ever release their names, but what they're dealing with is so bad. You work a 12-hour shift, you come home, and you think to yourself, is this enough? Sometimes your kids are sleeping, so you don't get to see them, but to me, I think it is enough. If you're working your ass off, you're taking care of the family, you're being present when you can be present, I think you're doing the best you can. I know from experience that my daughter, when I worked at the dealership and I was working all those hours, she was very happy when she saw me, but she also appreciated the fact that I was working my ass off to be able to provide for her, to support her. And I think a lot of men need to understand that. I mean, whether you're just starting out, whether you're in a relationship, you're married, you're divorced, but if you have kids, the goal is to make your child's life better than yours was. That's just my thinking. I'm not saying everybody has to think like that, but like I said, I had a good life, but I want my daughter's life to be even better. And if we have more kids, I want their lives to be even better. I want my daughter to always be comfortable coming up to me and saying, hey, I need you for this. Hey, I need you for that. Hey, this happened. I don't want her ever to be scared to tell me something. I don't want her to ever be afraid to feel like she can't come to me. And I think that's a big change from parents of the past. Maybe our parents, maybe our grandparents. It was, I'm not saying they weren't willing to lend an ear, but maybe we were more or less nervous to go to our parents at the time. When now I feel like kids, have no issue with that. I love the fact that my daughter comes to me for everything, and she feels like she's comfortable enough talking to us to tell us that, this happened, to tell us that happened. That means a lot to me. I mean, that's huge. I mean, the fact that she openly expresses things to me, that just makes me so happy in life. I think that, again, when it comes to us men, we feel like it's very difficult to be the person everybody wants us to be. because it starts with this. Maybe you're not making enough money. Maybe you're not working out enough to look good enough. You're not providing enough, which has to do with the money. You're not present enough at home, but at the same time, you have to work X amount of hours to make enough money to take care of the family, but then they get upset that you're not home, which I've seen from a few friends recently, and I don't know what to tell them. I tried to console them. I tried to talk to them. I'm like, you can't have the best of both worlds. You know, if you don't want to work so much and you want to see your family more, then cut back on your hours, maybe get a different job, which I know is not easy, or cut back on your living expenses. You know, if you're spending too much money a month, cut back. The people that really love you and the people that want to see you and want to hang out with you, they will cut back with you, meaning they won't ask you to go out as much. They'd rather hang out at the house. They're going to do things that you can do. And also, there's other times where they're going to go out and you can't, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to want to be friends with you. It is a very interesting world we live in right now, and nobody knows if it's going to get better or it's going to get worse. There's a lot of things out there that are on the table, so who knows? So, I mean, I get it. It's hard. It's hard to be a man, and, you know, we do the best we can. And especially me, I'm doing the best I can. You know, sometimes I have a bad day, but I'm not going to bring it home and destroy my family's day. You know, and that's another thing. You know, it's are we allowed to talk about it? Are you not allowed to talk about it? Are you going to ruin somebody's day if you bring it up? I have quite a few friends that I love all my friends, and there's times where I don't want to bring stuff up to them because I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to get on their nerves. I don't want them to be like, oh, Jesus, here we go again. And they've told me, they said, it's not a big deal. You can always talk to us. But I still choose not to. Most of the time, I'll keep it in. I'll bury it deep down, you know, and then I just pray that it doesn't come back. You know what I mean? And it stays buried. And is that a good way to deal with things? Probably not. Absolutely not. You know, and I'm seeking my own help for that. But I think that, again, the moral of this episode is to explain the fact that you try to be a good husband, try to be a good father, try to be a good worker, and sometimes it's hard to do all three. If you can manage to do all three, which I think I'm doing a pretty good job at, good for you. I mean, you're a step ahead of most. You know, but if, let's say, out of those three, you can only provide one out of the three, you have to decide, is it more of, obviously, the money that's worth it, or is it being more present at home? Meaning, yeah, you keep the job, but maybe you have to work less to see the kids more. You know, one thing I will say, and I'm kind of tired of seeing it, like all the Instagram posts and the ones that try to make you feel guilty. You only have 18 summers, 18 this, 18 that. Shut the fuck up. I'm sorry. You have as many summers with your child as you want, as long as they want to be around. I will be hanging out with Hannah as long as she wants me to be around. The whole dad and mom guilt, I think, is absolutely ridiculous. You know, making you feel guilty because you're making a living. You know, yeah, maybe you're going crazy and maybe you're, you know, overextending yourself, so you need to cut back. But all these guilt clips that come up and these people that make these, I actually find them quite amusing, because most of the time the people that make these clips have no family, have no kids, and they're just content creators, which obviously I'm doing a podcast, you know, look at me. But I have a family. I have the, you know, actual, you know, backing here. Like I have all that info to back it up and say that I'm doing that, taking care of my family. You know, I'm at a successful job. I'm trying to run my podcast and, you know, really reach the right amount of people and connect with the right people to make them feel better. But most of the time, those people out there that are talking about, you know, and yes, I go to the gym every day as well, but talking about I go to the gym, I do this, I do that, I do this, I made $1 million at home, blah, blah, blah. You can too. Most of those people are single, no kids, and they have every ounce of free time in the world to do whatever they want. So anybody that watches those videos, don't always believe them, and don't think your life is worse, than those lives. Because most of the time it's all just thrown in your face, and they're really just miserable. So I think that when it comes to, like I said, being a dad, stay off social media. Meaning, stay off social media when it comes to that stuff. Don't watch, certain videos. Don't listen to certain people. It's very easy for somebody to say, I made $3 million last year, and all I did was work. I worked 105 hours a week. Cool. Good for you. That's fucking awesome. You have no family. You know what I mean? You have no this, no that. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's easy for you to do that. So I think that you just have to sacrifice sometimes, but also even that out. Where do your sacrifices need to come from? Do I cut an hour from work so, maybe I don't get the overtime, but I get to the softball game? Do I maybe, work an extra hour and then the following week take a couple days off so you can go on that vacation and spend time with the family? I think I'm just tired of, I guess, men in general getting a bad rap, because there's some people the men aren't there enough, they say. And then there's some that are, I don't need a man in my life. My child doesn't need a father. Again, if I ruffle some feathers, I don't care. I think that every child needs a father figure in their life, even if it's not their father. Women provide and do amazing, and they are great nurturers, but there are certain things that men teach that I think, women, kids, they need to learn as well. And I love everybody. Freedom of speech is a fucking awesome thing. But when I listen to people say that my so-and-so doesn't need a father figure in their lives, they don't need a man, they don't need this, I'm like, you know what, that's fine, that's your opinion. But don't make other people feel like shit because they do have a father figure. They do have a father, they do have this. If that's how you feel, then that's your opinion. And if you want to keep your child from, let's say, their father, if there's no other issues, or a significant other that you have, that's great. Good for you. That is your opinion. That's your way of life. But, don't hate on the men that do provide for their families. Don't hate on the men that love their wives, love their children. I could tell you right now, I love my wife. I love my family. I love everything about what I'm doing right now, and I wouldn't change anything. Maybe a few things, but nothing crazy. Maybe maybe $1 million in the bank. But no, seriously, I think that everybody has their own opinions, and again, you can say whatever you want to say. But I think that the word, again, like I started with, toxic masculinity needs to be thrown out the window and just disappear. I think that when a man has an outburst or this and that, it doesn't need to be labeled or called something, because it doesn't happen for everybody. It happens more when a man does it. He gets blown up. He gets treated like shit. He gets called an asshole. They tell him he's a psycho. He needs help. He should go to counseling, and I don't think that's correct. Yes, counseling I think is a good thing. I've gone to therapy and counseling, and it has helped. But all in all, I just really wanted to talk about today being, like I said, being present for your child, being present for the family, being different than we were 50 years ago. Don't be afraid if somebody says something to you or somebody thinks a certain way about you because of what you're doing. Ignore them, brush them off. Don't get upset. It's a different day and age now, and if people judge you by the way you act around your family and your kids, meaning if they're going to judge you for being a great dad, then fuck them. And then if they're going to judge you for telling you shouldn't be doing this, again, fuck them. Who cares what anybody else says? It's your life. You have one life to live. Make it a great one. Enjoy your family. Enjoy the time you have with them. But again, like I said, you have to be able to balance everything. Balance your job. Balance your family. You want to make lasting memories with your family. You want to do things that maybe you didn't do as a kid. I can't wait. In 3 weeks, or 4 weeks, I go to Universal with Hannah and Tara. And I can't wait. Yeah, we're going for Hannah, but we're going to Harry Potter World for me. And these are things that I've been waiting to do. I've been waiting to experience. It's been a long, long time, and I can't wait. And Tara and I are making that happen together. That just goes back to, there's nothing wrong with helping each other out. Not one person has to pay for the whole trip all the time. There's different relationships. There's different ways that people think. But when it comes to us, the way we think is we can help each other. Let's do it. So I think the moral of, again, this episode is really just anybody out there that's feeling down. You feel like you don't have a place to talk. You feel like you're not a good enough father. You're not doing enough providing. Just look in the mirror. Do you have a roof over your head? You have food in the fridge? You're doing pretty damn well. Life is going to keep getting harder for all of us with the way this economy is, with the way the world is in general. So I think more of us need to come together, men and women together, join forces, really help each other out, and let's look out for one another. Not label each other if we, for what we do. Let's really go out on a limb here and say, you know what? If you need help, I'm going to help you. If you need help, I'm going to help you. No judgment. Nothing like that. I just think we need a better world for everybody with everything going on right now. We've gone through a shitty economy. We've gone through inflation, housing markets, COVID. We went through all this shit. And for any of us that made it out alive, let's try to stay that way. Let's take care of each other. Let's not label each other. Again, with that fucking word, toxic masculinity. Get that word out of your vocabulary. Stop treating it like you know what it actually means. Whether it be a man having an outburst, he's toxic. Shut the fuck up. That's all stupid. I'm sorry. And if you don't agree, I don't really care. The best thing about having a podcast, I could say whatever I want, and if you want to listen, you can, and if you don't want to listen, you don't have to. But I'm not hurting anybody. I am looking out for the people I feel need looking out for, and I'm going to keep doing that every day. So, as always, I appreciate every one of you listening, and this has been JD Lewis with Untamed Conversations. Ever feel run down, get bad migraines, or get sick often? Maybe you drank too much the night before and can't get out of bed. Want to add some extra vitamins into your life to help your skin and metabolism? Well, I know exactly how to fix that. Get Your Drip On is a mobile IV clinic run by a registered nurse in New Haven, Connecticut area. She will come to your house and literally hook you up. Talk about convenience. She will hook you up with the fluids you need to give yourself that extra kick. Get Your Drip On offers IV fluid bags of immunity boosting, energy, weight loss, hangover cure, skin repair, performance, and recovery. Call Get Your Drip On at 475-209-3409 or message on Instagram at Get Your Drip On to book an appointment now.